Hey guys, here's another of my top tips on how to take care of your voice. I've been sharing some freebies this month here on YouTube as many of us head into the cold weather season. If you missed any of the other tips, make sure to check them out here. Most singers don't warm up at all, or they don't know how to warm up their voices properly. So often we jump in quickly to sing and then our voices break down quickly. If you want your voice to last for years and if you want it to keep improving and not deteriorate, you need to begin a vocal warm-up routine. You would never see an Olympic athlete just roll out of bed and immediately jump on the track and aggressively sprint a 100-meter race. You see them for hours before they're warming up their muscles. They're stretching, they're jogging, they're taking it easy on their muscles. They're taking it slow. At first, they're coaxing their muscles out of rest so as to get the most out of them in the race. Singing a song is not warming up. It's like jumping out of bed and sprinting. And when we sing on cold vocal cords, we're forcing the voice into heavy, full muscle coordinations. The vocal cords swell up, they get inflamed, the voice starts to crack, and it's really difficult to get it out of that state. You'll end up with a tired voice or much worse, vocal nodules, vocal hemorrhaging. Morning is one of the worst times to sing. Think about it. We're going from our vocal cords being in a complete state of rest when we're sleeping to all of a sudden needing so much power and range in so many of the contemporary worship songs that we sing. But morning is the time for most of us when we need to sing as worship vocalists. Most services happen on a Sunday morning. So we need a strategy to ensure that we get the most out of our voices in the morning and that we don't do damage to the vocal cords. I recommend beginning your warm-up as early as possible, ideally 1.5 to 2 hours before you need to sing on a Sunday morning. So yes, this means getting up early. I'm up at 5:30 a.m. for a 7:30 a.m. rehearsal. And yes, I drag my husband out of bed with me. There's no way he's staying in bed when I'm getting up that early. His first job is to make coffee as quickly as possible. So I'm up early, but I'm not actually vocalizing. I'm not actually doing vocal warm-ups that entire time. In fact, most of that 2 hours is just me being silent. But the key is to do the warm-ups slowly over that period of time. The longer you warm up for, the longer your voice is going to be strong for. And a slow, methodical, gentle warm-up is going to give your voice longevity. This is of extreme importance for those of you who have multiple services in a weekend. There's so much demand on your voice. I work with some of you who have 2, 3, 4, 5 services in a weekend that your voice needs to get through. You might think that the extra sleep would actually be the thing that's more helpful. And believe me, I wish. I love the snooze button. I love the snooze button. You can ask my husband if you want to verify that. But it's actually the being awake and being up and getting the blood flowing, getting the vocal cords gently moving early on in the morning that's going to help your voice last longer. And while you're getting ready, you can already start thinking about how great your Sunday afternoon nap is going to be. Start slow. Start with a few stretches as you get out of bed, especially the upper body and the neck. Just get those muscles waking up. And then after you've been awake for a little bit, we want to move into what's called the lip roll, just buzzing our lips like this. I find for most people it helps to just push in on the cheeks a little bit like this. just helps the lips to vibrate more freely, keeps that airflow going. I like to just free vocalize on some lip rolls in the shower while I'm waking up. The voice doesn't want intense scales right away, so you don't want to just right away when we wake up in the morning. It's too much, so just be nice and gentle, just up and down in your range. I'm not putting any extra pressure on my voice. Then I just like to warm up my voice slowly over the course of the morning as I get ready. A good rule of thumb is 2 to 3 minutes of warm-ups, then rest your voice for 10 to 15 minutes, and then another 2 to 3 minutes of warm-ups, then rest your voice again. Some light humming on an NG, like the end of the word song, is really good for the voice early in the morning. You can just try that, moving up and down again, not putting extra pressure on the voice, just Another great warm-up is a lazy, relaxed vocal fry like this. Whoa. Slowing the voice way down so we hear those individual vibrations. Let it sound groggy. Don't force it. Don't just let it be relaxed. Yeah. Whoa. Ow. These three things, the lip roll, the NG hum, and the vocal fry, really ease the voice into the warm-up because we're not putting any extra tension or weight on the vocal cords early in the morning. So I'm just doing these three things over the first basically hour as I wake up in the morning and as I'm getting ready. So waking up, showering, eating breakfast, getting dressed, doing vocal warm-ups, just work it into your morning routine to do some relaxed warm-ups as you get ready. Be patient as you warm up. Don't be concerned about the quality of your voice at first. If you feel tension or tightness, just back off and take it even easier. The idea is that we're moving from thin vocal cords to thick vocal cords. We're moving from light coordinations to prepare our voice for the heavier coordinations. You're trying to get your voice to agree with you, not force it into submission. You're allowing the voice to wake up. You're letting it find itself. Say after being awake, ideally for at least 45 minutes to an hour, you want to think about moving the voice into some bigger sounds by warming up each of the resonators, the chest voice, head voice, and pharyngeal. And if you haven't worked through my Discover Your Voice course yet, I recommend that you go back and do that so that you'll have a deeper understanding of each of these resonators. Chest voice resonates in the mouth. It sounds like this. Mum, mum, mum. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ma, 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 ma. Ba, ba, ba. Head voice resonates in the head. Upper nasal cavity, you sort of feel it right between your eyebrows. Sounds like this. Woo, 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 woo. Goo, 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 goo. And the pharyngeal voice resonates in the nasal cavity and pharynx, sounds super nasally. Wah, wah, wah. Nay, 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 nay. Meh, meh, meh. These three resonators are each important. They work together to give your voice full access to your range and to give it richness and depth, power and freedom, ease, release, all the things we want in our singing. I would typically move into chest, head, and pharyngeal warm-ups in the final minutes of getting ready at home and on the drive to church, and be doing this sort of final part of the warm-up for about 10 to 20 minutes or so. singers only warm up their voice to the highest note and lowest note that they need to sing that particular day, and it's a flawed approach. Let's say, hypothetically, the songs I'm singing this morning don't go lower than a middle C and don't go higher than a C, an octave higher than that. Well, if I only warm up this octave in my voice, I'm going to be constantly bumping up against a ceiling at this A, B, C in my voice, and I'm going to be bottoming out at this middle C. The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning. Sing like never before, oh my soul. So what we want to do is warm up the entire range so that it actually makes the notes we're singing feel easy. I've heard my coach Brett Manning say, if you can dunk a 10-foot basket, then it makes an 8-foot basket feel like a piece of cake. So if I'm warming up well below this middle C and well above this high C, then when I go back to the song, that chorus isn't gonna feel hard because I've stretched out my entire range. Sing like never before, oh my soul. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I worship your holy name. So I've put together a vocal warm-up for you that's specifically designed for you to warm up your voice in the morning to prepare for Sunday morning worship service, and it includes all the things I've talked about: the lip roll, humming, vocal fry, chest, head, pharyngeal resonance, and I've even worked in the suggested breaks and rest into the vocal warm-up routine. So I want to set you up for success. If you're singing in the evening, the same principles apply. Just start warming up your voice a couple hours before you need to be at your service or performance or rehearsal. Maybe you're like many people who I've heard say, I don't need to warm up my voice. I've never warmed up my voice and it works just fine. Well, I would challenge you in two ways. One, you may not know of the subtle damage that happens to your vocal cords over time by the tension and strain of singing cold on the muscles. The voice will take a lot of abuse and then all of a sudden it won't. It just gives out, and I don't want that to happen to you. Secondly, maybe your voice is actually capable of so much more if you actually learned how to warm it up properly. Discovering your vocal potential is so fun, and I want you to experience that. So if you want to get the most out of your voice, if you want it to last for years without injury, without deterioration, without experiencing vocal fatigue all the time, if you want to just really see what your voice is capable of, begin a warm-up routine. I encourage you to try the one I've put together for you the next time you're scheduled to sing on a Sunday morning.